Hey everybody, welcome to Waypoint. No shit, fuck.
We're keeping it in. We're keeping it in.
Is that the first one? Is that the first?
I think
I think so.
I think that's the first one. All right, play the intro. What up, everybody? Welcome to Shared Screens Media Club, the place where we talk about all your favorite things except books. Today we are talking about Hawkeye Episode 4, Partners. Am I right? Joining me today is Alec Bobko.
Hello.
We got Jim Tasty, aka Brett Jamerson.
Hello, hello.
And we got my pet lizard, Leanne Jass.
Hi.
So, guys, today, Episode 4, Hawkeye, what are our general thoughts to start?
I felt things I didn't know I could feel watching Maya, Yelena, and Kate fight. It was such a good time for me.
But they're all fighting each other.
I don't care. I love it. I literally said walking out of Black Widow, you can go back and listen to that podcast. In the podcast, I go, I cannot wait to watch Yelena and Kate fight each other.
Yeah.
And I got it. I was given it, and it was so exciting. It got spoiled for me, but I don't even fucking care.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see her today.
Same.
Even though, it makes sense that, they can't just shove her in the last two episodes, but...
It is absolutely my fault that it got spoiled, because I woke up and I went on Twitter and I wanted to see if Kingpin appeared in this episode, and I knew he'd be trending if he did, and Yelena was trending instead, and I was like, oh, well.
See, I didn't go on Twitter this morning. I was like, I don't want to know if he's in it, but I really, really was assuming he would make the appearance this episode.
I feel dumb for assuming we were going to see him this episode. I was sitting there, I was like, we're not going to see him until the last fucking episode, right? Like, doors are going to open, and it's going to be this big hunking...
Or end
guy.
of next one, I think.
Yeah. It's like, he's going to appear in, an end credit and, be like, let's go.
Do you think they can retcon MCU Kingpin to have the same body as Into the Spider-Verse Kingpin?
I don't want them to. I'm sure that technology exists, but I don't want it. I don't want... That is the only thing I don't like about Spider-Verse, is Kingpin, for some reason, makes me so uncomfortable.
I don't even want them to CGI it. Make it a practical effect. Build him a suit.
I hate it. I hate it. Because think about what it looks like when the suit's not on. It just, doesn't look... It really fucked me up into the Spider-Verse.
I feel like it would just look like the weird, gooey caterpillar guy from Dune.
Yeah, and, that's supposed to make you uncomfortable in Dune.
It did, but Kingpin's cool.
I don't like to look at it. And then they showed, the image of his wife. I was like, I hate this. I don't want to think about any of this.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we could start there with the Yelena reveal. How do we all feel about it? Because I feel like it's... Not that it was bad, but it was just so quick. It almost should have just all happened in one episode, I think.
I don't think it was too quick, just because, we knew she was coming.
Eventually,
they told us that she was going to show up eventually. So, I don't think we need it all in, her whole thing in one episode. I feel like it's better to... Because this way they're going to be running from so many people. And I'm so excited.
Yeah. And Clint's now assuming the worst. He thinks that somebody has hired a Black Widow assassin against them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, he's not totally wrong.
True, she hired herself.
Someone did hire... Well, and also fucking the Seinfeld lady.
Val?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, Fontaine.
I couldn't remember her Seinfeld character, her Marvel character,
Elaine.
or the actress's name.
Elaine for Seinfeld, Fontaine for Marvel, and then I also know her as
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
That's the one.
That's her name.
Yep.
We got there. I got there. All
We're
right.
great here. We know our actors. We know our actors and actresses.
Yeah, I'm yelling. I have to calm down. But yeah, he's not totally wrong. Someone did hire someone with Black Widow training. It's just not what he thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which had me a little confused, because did Natasha not tell him about what happened in 2016?
Probably not.
I mean, she could have, but there were so many out there in the world, to assume that they were all taken care of, I think, would be naive.
I just meant like the red
Like
that the
Yelena.
red room. Yeah. But like that the red room and what's his face? Draken,
Dreykov.
whatever the fuck. There we go. That
Draken.
he
I
I knew it
think
was like a DR.
I think with that, I mean, the Red Room and Dreykov were pretty much resolved at the end of Black Widow. I mean, there were still Black Widows out there, but they were all
That's what I'm saying.
were they all cured, or there's still maybe some agents out there that hadn't
Oh
been.
no, there's a shit ton that haven't been
No,
cured.
I know that they're like going to chase them. I'm saying, did she maybe like tell him about the red room and the red room doesn't really like exist anymore for people to like be being hired from? I'm like,
Would she have
I-
even gotten that chance?
I feel like with the events of Endgame, she tracks him down in Japan. He's murdering criminals. She's like, "Hey, we have this plan to save the universe," and then they probably just went from there to actually execute that plan. Maybe, but I
yeah,
don't
but
know.
like I'm saying, like that plane ride. Did you just sit in silence, or like could you be like, hey, well, here's what's happened to me. I have a sister. She's around now.
And then
You know,
Hawkeye starts crying because he's like, I lost my whole family and you gained one.
she gained a person. He
Yeah, we
didn't
don't
have
know if she got snapped or not, right?
No, that's going to be the fun question for every recurring character is were they snapped or not?
I hate it already.
I mean, that's like we don't know. Like she could have been gone during that
Yeah.
time too. I don't know.
But yeah, no, there are definitely more Black Widows out there. So even if Clint does know, if somebody hasn't been found yet by the ones who are curing the rest, and somebody
I'm
out there
saying-
still exists with that skill set,
I'm just
they
saying,
could
I
very
feel like
easily get
would have been
hired.
nice.
I'm just saying, Kingpin could have just hired her. I mean, she could be working with Val, but I mean, what's to say that she couldn't take a contract or two on the side?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I wouldn't jump to. I feel like Nat should have filled him in on like some stuff. The flight back from the Hudson Valley to Japan is a long one. It's like a 20-hour flight. You couldn't like been like, hey,
Yeah, but
You're
what I'm
assuming-
she's got a Quinjet. That's
Yeah,
like
the Quinjet's probably a little faster.
that's got to be
Probably
a little
like
bit
4
faster
hours.
than yeah.
Still, that's an entire flight. If I hadn't seen Jordan in I don't know how many fucking years, I don't feel like doing the math, and it was like awkward because Jordan had lost his whole family and been murdering people, I would tell that story. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
Really?
something
You
I
wouldn't,
went
you
through.
wouldn't give me a chance to talk about me?
If you weren't going to, no. Because if you don't want to talk about it, I'm really not going to force you to talk about the loss of your child. You know? Like,
I mean, I could tell you
But
about all the Yakuza I killed.
But knowing
I don't
kind
know
of
if
like
I'd want to have that conversation.
I said, knowing Clint though, like he might because that was like almost his lowest point, so he might not have been as talkative or not wanting to communicate too much. So I'm sure he probably just wanted to like do the job and get his family back.
Every time
Yeah.
they show him with his sleeves rolled up, I forget that he has a full sleeve of tattoos now.
Yeah.
I really hope after him and his family like reconciled, they all just roasted him and they're like, that's how you coped?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure they already did.
Yeah.
They
But
already
no,
know.
I do think this episode left a lot of questions, some good and some I feel like I wish they would have just answered in this episode. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
this-
really, really curious who this fucking Rolex is for.
This
Oh.
show, I feel like every episode has ended too early. Where I'm like
Yeah.
not expecting the ending to like hit and the credits to
Yeah.
start rolling, and I'm like,
It's
oh,
not like WandaVision levels of bad, where like you think something major is going to happen, and then you see that fucking please stand by.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show is interesting because we only have 2 episodes left, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
2
Yeah.
episodes left. There are a lot of plot threads that like need to be resolved.
Yeah,
Or
that's what I'm
like
getting at. It's like within the next 2 episodes, we need to, reveal Jack for the piece of shit he is, convert Maya into being on their side, deal with Kingpin showing up, close Yelena, have Kate establish herself as the new Hawkeye, and get Clint back home before Christmas.
I mean, Wow, does anyone really think he's getting home for Christmas?
I
Yeah,
do.
I do.
I
I
think
feel
that's
like
how it
he's just
ends.
gonna cry on Christmas, and it's gonna be one of the weird moments, like fucking when he just dropped Kate with no warning and just trusted that some
Yeah.
Christmas lights would catch her.
Yeah, what are those fucking Christmas lights made out of?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I mean this in the nicest way, and I'm not fat shaming anybody, but like Haley Steinfeld's a little taller than me, and like, but we look around like the same build. There are no Christmas lights that would support my weight with me falling from like 10 feet up.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
I mean, I feel like you could drop 50 pounds. The Christmas lights aren't gonna hold that. They don't have
I
that
feel like I could drop Cleo, and the Christmas lights aren't gonna hold. Like, I don't think the Christmas lights are gonna hold this.
on this
You
episode of
know?
Mythbusters.
I mean,
I would never. Oh
they
my
did.
god.
It did look like a lot of Christmas lights. Like it wasn't just like a couple
Yeah,
rows.
but it wasn't like a net either.
I'm just saying, I would have been salty if he had just whipped out a knife and went, "I'm sorry," or "Get out of here," and cut it. I'd be like a little pissed off. Like Christ Almighty.
Yeah. It was,
I'll say I
the
really
ending-
enjoyed the
Go ahead.
like the Christmas, like the movie marathon where they like got any more of that slushy stuff left, and they just kind of had a
Yeah.
nice little hangout montage.
When I first saw him open the freezer and grab all the frozen margaritas, I was like, "Oh, is he gonna get? Is this gonna get all sad and drunk?" And it's like, "Oh no, he's using these as ice packs."
Yep.
Yeah,
Listen, you use what you can.
yeah.
I
This
like
ep-
the little-
I'm not
Oh, go
blaming
ahead.
him. Oh, I was just gonna say I'm not blaming him for it. I just, was like, "Hey, I'm ready to see Hawkeye fucking party."
I'd be concerned if this is when he was partying. Sorry, Brett. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna say this episode. I don't think I've said this before, but this episode's like seriously solidified, like Kate Bishop for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like she's been great in every episode. It just was like this one, like they nailed. I felt like what her character is meant to be in terms of her personality, her relationship with Clint, her abilities, like all of that stuff. Like it just further, like I feel like this was the episode that cemented all that for me. I still think there might be a little bit more work with Clint and Hawkeye's relationship, or Kate and Hawkeye's relationship to go, but we still have 2 more episodes for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was fantastic in this episode.
I
Yeah.
also
Like how
liked seeing the. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say how personable she was, like especially with like the LARPers. Like
Yeah, that's
most
what I
of
was
us would
gonna say.
probably just be like, "What the heck?" But then, like, she was just like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome, cool. Let me help you." Like,
Yeah, I think it was really cool seeing the kind of differences between them by both of them having approached the LARPers and going about it in very different ways.
Yeah.
Oh my
Although
God.
I have a question. So
What's LARPing?
no,
We answered that last episode.
no. My question is: so when Kate is going to the LARPers to get back Hawkeye's trick arrows,
Mhm.
I don't know what the status is with the Sokovia Accords, or where the Avengers stand with the international government community or whatever. Like, but I feel like if Hawkeye's like, hey, NYPD, you have gear that belongs to me. Like, I feel like an Avenger should just be able to like get it back, like without having to go through all these like hoops and
Well, that's what was annoying about
favors.
last episode is that he wouldn't just be like, I'm a fucking Avenger. Give me the suit. This is not worth you risking your life over. As for the Sokovia Accords, the Sokovia Accords are not like the Registration Act in the comics where it just affected all heroes. It was specifically made for the Avengers as an entity.
Can I interrupt really quick?
Yeah.
Guys, they just brought back half the world. I don't think anyone gives a shit about the
That was
Sokovia
my
Accords
thought.
anymore.
That was
Also
my
that.
thought too.
Also that.
Alec gets it. Like,
But no, but I have to like. It still needs to be resolved because we haven't heard anything about the Sokovia Accords since.
Yeah, but I
Civil
think
War.
But
I
I
basically think after Thanos came through, they were like, we can just,
Well,
make
then they
make
need
some
they need
origami with
Well,
this.
that's the global or whatever the GRO, whatever that organization was from Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that kind of like overtook, like that.
in terms of policing heroes.
Not necessarily heroes, but like they kind of just because of how dire everything was. I'm sure they probably just like, hey, Sokovia Accords just.
There's no Don't worry about it.
But again,
yeah.
even if they were still on the books, they were made specifically for the Avengers as an entity, not for anybody going around as a vigilante. It's why Spider-Man's never had an issue dealing with them. It's why I guess Captain Marvel's off-world most
Captain
of the
Marvel
time.
doesn't follow Earth's laws.
Yeah.
Like, again, there are some people that laws don't apply to.
Yeah. But you get what
but
I'm saying.
I just took them having to be like covert about how they got it back is that if they just went in and went, "Hello, I'm Hawkeye, please give me my trick arrows back," there would be a possibility of the tracksuit mafia finding out, and that they might have just been like, "Hey, let's let them think we're laying low for a little while."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Also, another thing I want to bring up, and it made me laugh a little bit, but so yeah, in Avengers Age of Ultron, when we get introduced to Clint's family,
mhm.
that was after Ultron like had, you know, been on the scene. He, got plugged into the internet, so he was presumably had eyes on everything at all times, so to speak. He couldn't find out where Clint's family was, but Echo somehow could. I was like, okay, because that was a big part of his character of like nobody can know about my family. It's like super off the books, all this stuff. And then Echo, who's just like this, mid-level criminal, is like able to track
Well,
down.
do you think it's Echo who was keeping that notepad, or was it Yelena?
It was
It
Echo
was
because it was
It
her
was
apartment.
Echo. It was in
Yeah, it was
her
her apart-
apartment.
Yeah,
Yelena was never in the apartment. She just came to fuck up Clint on the other roof.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I just thought that was interesting that like she was able to complete that goal.
Yeah.
Then
Brett brings me to the point that I want to go to. So his wife's like an ex-Shield agent, and we just don't know it, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, 100%.
when
How
she
she
just
just broke out the
started talking
German?
in fucking German, I was like, all right, like, this is
Or
why they have to be kept a
or
secret.
was she Hydra? Ex-Hydra.
No.
I don't think he'd marry
No.
Hydra, and I don't think Nat would be down with it.
Yeah. At first with the German, I was like, maybe they just made sure they both can speak a different language to say stuff in front of the kids. But then she looked stuff up, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm tracking the Rolex right now," and I'm just like, "Jeez, okay, we're really fleshing out Laura."
The
She
theory,
she probably was like his handler or something, right? Maybe, I don't know.
the
That could be.
theory I saw was that she's Mockingbird. Because Marvel has started hinting that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon, that everything that happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, just ignore.
Mhm.
And that would be
R.I.P.
that's
Ghost
the only
Rider.
place that we've yeah, R.I.P. Ghost Rider. That's the only also R.I.P. Coulson, because that means he never came back to life.
Yep.
But
I feel like him coming back to life kind of ruined the Avengers.
oh, so did I. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
so if they want to just be like, hey, that's not part of continuity anymore, and make it that Laura Barton isn't her real name, or that it is, and Mockingbird just has a different name, like Marvel does that too. Like it can be Laura, but I was like, I will lose my shit if they make her Mockingbird. I want to see some actress I've never seen before pretending to be a younger Linda Cardellini and just fucking wrecking shit. Like,
So I have a question with that, right? So if they make her Mockingbird, do you think they would use that character for in terms of that role that Linda Cardellini is already playing? If like, because I think going forward from this show, no matter what happens to Hawkeye, like I could still see him showing up, but his role is probably going to decrease like a little
yeah.
bit over time. And so if they attach Mockingbird to Linda's character, I mean, she can't show up that much either, just because she's a mom. Yeah, and she's got kids. Like she's how
The
old is
Mockingbird has a full nest.
Linda Cardellini? Like 43 or something, like
I
something
don't know.
like
She was
that.
like 17 in the 90s. I can't do math.
But you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
she wouldn't be able to show up a ton just from like
No, yeah.
not that
I
yeah.
I think they might do it just as like a fun little like,
Linda
ah,
Edna Cardellini
she's
is
46 years old.
46. Yep.
46. Okay.
Real name's
Could just be like
Elena?
a fun.
She was
code name
married
or
to
something.
Jason Segel.
No. No.
Edna must be like a family name or something.
Yeah. But no, she was not married to Jason Segel. I think they dated while they
Yeah,
were
they
filming
dated.
Breaking Geeks. Which yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I want her to be like a secret badass. I want her to be the one that like this is who Yelena is. Like I'm like a guy in the chair now because I'm mom. And like someone has to watch our kids.
You don't think the Rolex is hers, right?
Yeah.
I think it is hers.
That's the prevailing theory online, is that the Rolex is hers.
Yeah.
But he says it attaches it to someone's
someone I
identity.
used to work with.
That's why, yeah.
He never says a pronoun. He just says somebody I used to work with. Their secret identity was never blown.
Yeah,
if that Rolex gets out, it's over.
My thing was more, I thought it would be somebody more recent, because if we assume that she, I don't know, why keep the Rolex
from more recent that we wouldn't know?
It was at the Avengers complex. You assume like pre-Civil War, like he had it on him, he was wearing it or whatever, and then like he put it in a drawer, and then it just was there, and then all this stuff went down.
See, I was thinking when he came to the compound in Endgame, if he had her watch with him to like,
if he had him with him
closer,
if he had it with her all those years, that would make more sense.
Or that even before any of that, just when they moved to that compound, like any stuff, he may have been like, "Hey Tony, I need you to protect this so like my wife's identity doesn't get blown." And then we have two reasons that people will come after our family. Can you hide this? And then somebody did a shitty job of recovering shit from Avengers Campus.
Yeah, what else did people steal? Damn.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of cleanup.
At this point, I'm expecting somebody to show up with the stones.
I'm assuming that somebody stole nanotech or armor, and that's going to be part of Armor Wars.
Armor Wars, yeah.
Armor Wars,
yeah. Jack is the weirdest guy on the face of the goddamn fucking planet. I would be like, I'm never going home.
He makes me uncomfortable, and I don't say that too often because very little makes me uncomfortable.
He's really dilfy, but then he opens his mouth.
Is he though?
Yeah, he's hot in like a
but the mustache.
Gomez Adams, like Oscar Isaac kind of way.
Tony Dalton is killing this role. Like,
he's doing a great job.
He's like, this is my first thing of his that I'm watching, and I know he's really great in like Better Call Saul and stuff like that. But yeah, like just like even that off-scene dialogue where he's like, "Man, Kate really like was composed in front of her idol." Like I was like,
yeah,
like just like the writing for his character too is really great. Like, yeah,
also,
I love this character.
Why are you having that conversation in front of her?
Yeah, I thought she was like listening to them like from 3 rooms behind. No, they're right there.
Right there. And Lucky the dog is just sitting there like
just chilling.
Just like and like nobody's asking where she got this one-eyed dog. Like just vibing.
To be fair, that isn't the weirdest thing she showed up with that day.
I don't know. I feel like I would take a one-eyed dog as weirder than an Avenger.
Leon, if I told you I found a stray cat with one leg, or I ran into a member of SEAL Team 6, what's more likely?
You live in Poughkeepsie, New York, which skews it. They're in New York City, which opens you up. If you said we're in New York City and we're like, I ran into a member of SEAL Team 6, I'd be like, yeah, you did. Random fucking people show up and sure, yeah, I totally believe you. Like,
I guess.
But if you were like, hey, I brought home like a 3-legged cat, I'd be like, and where did you get this 3-legged cat? Like,
from the 3-legged cat store.
Like, are you good? Like, what are you doing here? Are you the reason it only has 3 legs? Would be really where my brain would go.
And
did you
plus,
find it that way, or did you?
Or did something happen on the way here?
Yeah.
Going back to Jack, like I don't think he's bad. Was it Jordan? You said you still think he's
I think
bad?
it's bad.
Oh, I
I
think he's
I
evil.
think so. Yeah. I mean,
I
I think
it's
I
pretty
I
clear
Eleanor is
cut
too.
now that he's a CEO of that company. Like,
yeah, I think because of
Eleanor.
Eleanor, like it's a shell company, so I totally think what's happening is she started that company and put his name down as CEO.
I
He
think if the
stuck
twist
a sword to a guy's throat. I don't trust anyone who just casually is like, "I will slit your throat
not
with
just
this sword I
not just any
stole from a
sword,
black
a
market auction."
retractable sword.
A retractable sword that I stole from a black market auction. I don't think he killed the old guy. I think Eleanor did, but I think he is aware of everything going on.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't think the twist is going to be that the mom is the only mastermind behind all this. I think Jack's got definitely involved in some shit.
now,
And
who do we
Eleanor
think she was
definitely doesn't think she
calling?
did it.
Kingpin.
That
Yeah,
was my
I
thought too.
assumed
Yeah.
that it was either Kingpin or one of his like.
Or Val. I saw somebody say she was calling Val to send
Oh,
Yelena. Yeah,
that could be.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could have seen that
Interesting.
because
Yeah.
I think kind of like what we brought up earlier with all these threads. Like I think the Val or the I guess there's no name for like the team she's assembling, but I think I could totally see Val being connected with Eleanor and the Kingpin's like criminal, underworld kind of operation going on.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
I,
just
I mean,
I'm
I,
just guessing, so yeah. I'm
yeah,
just speaking into it.
Mhm.
I have besides that, like, obviously Val is hiring her own Captain America and her own Black Widow so that she can kill the Avengers that are left. I got nothing on like where this is going. I can't even guess like a
That
project
is that
that's
her
all they're doing.
goal to kill the Avengers?
I assumed just because she was like, with what we're doing, the world isn't gonna need Avengers. It's not gonna need a Captain America. It's gonna need a US agent. I was like, oh, you're gonna murk some fuckers.
Yeah, I assumed she was setting up the Thunderbolts.
And the
Yeah,
fact that like she was like went out of her way to lie to Yelena so that Yelena would go kill Clint rather than just recruiting her. I just feel like that's the plan is like John's job is gonna be to murk Sam. Yelena's in charge of Hawkeye, you know.
yeah. I thought that was her way to recruit Yelena
I
was
assume
by getting some personal connection to her to have her join the team.
Mhm.
whoever's. Oh, go ahead, Brett.
And then I thought too with Val Squad, like in terms of we're not going to need Avengers. I thought that meant like in terms of a more like clandestine, under the table kind of team, as opposed to even though the Avengers kind of did their own thing, they still were like above board and a public facing kind of group.
Very, yeah, front facing.
Yeah.
If I got my wish, Val is working with Justin Hammer, and we're gonna get a fun team up in Armor Wars. It's all I want.
What
I'm
I was
not
about
even
to
being
say is
sarcastic. That is legitimately something that I want. I want it to be that like Val was his guy on the his guy on the outside, and that like she recruited everybody and got everybody ready to go, and Justin Hammer's about to fucking wreck some shit with her and John Walker and Yelena, and I want it.
so that's what I was
I
gonna say
want
is
it.
I could whoever the villain of Armor Wars is, I could see her recruiting that person as like the Iron Man equivalent to her evil Avengers.
all I
Only
gotta
thing is, I really don't know who it'd be because in the comics, when they made the Thunderbolts, Norman Osborn was in an Iron Man suit, which they're not gonna do. So I could see them doing Hammer.
I just want Justin Hammer to come back. I love him so much. And I'm not being ironic. Like, I'm being legitimate. I enjoy him so much. And making him younger, I feel like, and not ever using him again is a waste of Sam Rockwell's amazing
Yeah.
talent. And like he'd come back. He had a great time filming the second one. He'd come back for more. I'm sure he would.
I mean,
Yeah.
he could have been the one that got the nanotech, you know?
I want it so bad.
I
I
feel
want
like
it.
Val would hate Justin Hammer.
Hey,
Based off of what we
eventually
know.
you hate your coworkers, but they help you get to an end.
Yeah.
Very
I
true.
think
Well,
he'd be
'cause
very, very annoyed by him, but I think they could work together.
Justin Hammer was in jail, right? And That one
Yeah.
shot.
Like, I'm just saying, think about it. Think Armor Wars opens. John Walker fucking busts through a window and just murks some
Bootlegs, man.
what are the cops in prisons called?
Correction officers.
Corrections officers just fucking murks
Yep.
them all, throws his fucking new shield or whatever the fuck he has at a lock and breaks them out, and they leave through a wall. Like, this is how I want Armor Wars to open.
You wanted to start out with Johnny Dubs. I like it.
I want him like breaking out Justin Hammer and us finding out like right off the bat that this is a whole plan. We get to see more of Don Cheadle dealing with Justin Hammer, which was great in Iron Man 2. We get to see Yelena deal with Justin Hammer, which just seems entertaining.
See,
Like,
The
part
clips
about
going
Armor
back and
Wars-
forth between those two.
Yeah,
The
like,
best part about
I
Armor
want it.
Wars is that Don Cheadle always kind of looks like he's done with people's shit. So when he has to act like he's done with people's shit, it's just like twofold.
And I want it so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think it will be such a good fucking choice. You know?
Yeah. But that show's not for a while, so let's focus on this episode.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I do like how this episode kind of like showed like little friendship forming between Kate and Clint for like real this time. Like last episode, okay, he took her to a diner and he gave her food, but like he was like teaching her how to do the thing where he flicks, and he was like actually insisting on her help. But it also was very clear why he's so invested in this. It's more than just the fact that to him she's like a kid's age and like, oh no, he can't let her die. He feels as yeah, he doesn't want another person to die. He definitely feels the same way he feels about Natasha with her.
Such a basic white guy. I was watching this, I was like, I get it. I'm not shaming Disney for making this storyline, but I was like, this is such a basic storyline that like this grizzled hero lost somebody he cares about, and now he's like, I work alone because he can't lose another.
Oh my
like,
god, it's The Last of Us.
I don't look at it. I don't look at it as I work alone. I think it's like I'm done with this. I'm old. Like
I'm old.
yeah,
I want to be done.
yeah,
It's just like, I don't know. It's like that he
They're
won't
on a
tell
family
her
trip.
anything. I'm like,
yeah.
somebody online was saying that could be the other reason that Linda Cardellini's character Laura didn't go with them, is that she can't really leave the farm because if somebody sees her, she could be in some trouble.
That makes sense.
And didn't Tony in Age of Ultron say that she's an agent or something? Wasn't that a line that he said?
I haven't watched Age of Ultron in so long that you could say to me anything about Age of Ultron, and I just have to agree.
Hawkeye says that S.H.I.E.L.D. helped him set the whole thing up, and that it wasn't even, I think, on file in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And if both of them were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and Laura did some shit that like was real bad and has really bad people after her, you can't find a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent's location if their location isn't even in your records.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm starting to like this idea more and more.
Thank you. It's not mine. I shouldn't say thank you. I shouldn't take credit for this.
No,
I
it's
literally
fine.
had to Google whether or not I was supposed to know whose Rolex that was. Because to be honest with you, when the Tracksuit Mafia guy picked it up, I thought it was a keychain. I didn't realize it was a watch in that scene.
Oh yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was going to come back. I didn't realize I was supposed to pay attention to that.
Oh, how about that freaking awesome scene where Clint's like, all right, I'm gonna go get the job done, and then he breaks into Kazi's car,
Takes all the
interrogates
weapons.
him. Is like five
Yeah.
steps ahead, calls him a freaking doormat. Like he was just like not like he wasn't there to play around at all.
There was like those few moments of mutual respect, but then Clint was like, I'm going to yeet your gun into the sky.
I know. Can I get
Which
my
I'm
gun
just
back?
like-
No.
Which I'm just like, you saw which direction he threw it in. Just go get it.
Yeah.
He just
go
threw
grab
it. It's not like he destroyed it. He just chucked it.
It's not like if you
Yeah,
threw
but-
it in like a body of water or something. Like, just
I
go
don't know.
find it.
Imagine walking down the street and a gun just comes down from the sky, and then you see a guy that looks like a mobster just run up and like, oh, there it is.
It's New York City. Everybody just
Exactly, yeah.
pretends that they don't see what they see. It's one of the five boroughs of the city.
I feel like that would be online.
Jordan, my dad was on the subway coming home from on his way to the train station coming home from work one day, and a guy near him pulled a knife out, and him and the 12 people around him didn't even notice until the cops came in. New Yorkers don't notice
Fair.
shit, and when they do, they go, this isn't my business.
They
I'm not
literally
getting
had to
involved with
start a
this."
campaign that if we saw something to say something.
Literally, they had to say something because people would just dump bags, and the New Yorker mentality is, "That's not my business.
Yeah,
Not my business."
we're the greatest place ever.
I don't need to worry about that. How often
Um,
in fucking Poughkeepsie do we see shit that we're like, "That's not my business. I don't know what's happening over there, but that's not my business."
100%.
Yeah.
Also, the awesome parallel with Hawkeye talking about his family, and then on the TV, It's a Wonderful Life when he meets his family again after they were gone, and that whole scene with Kate and Clint in the
It was
apartment,
cute.
dude. Yeah, it was awesome.
I also like that she was both planning, but also still throwing the holiday themed thing. Like they were making this really tactical plan, but they're in Christmas sweaters and they're drinking margaritas.
It's
Yep.
called multitasking. Look it up.
Yep.
Oh god, I love her so much.
And
It's very
that's
wholesome.
the song that was going behind the that like what as they're
Mahali
planning.
Dimaka.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that's like the perfect song to go behind, like when you're trying to make like this super strategic plan.
Mm-hmm. And she drew on her aunt's
Poster.
poster. That was a tough. I was like, how do you know how to check that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could still be wet erase.
Yeah.
Weird thing that I saw on Twitter that I meant to bring up to you guys. Somebody on Reddit and Twitter were saying that when they went into her aunt's building the very first time, when they have to lie to they're like confusing the guy so that he buzzes open the door. That there's a nameplate that said J Jones and D whatever Duncan from Jessica Jones' last name was on one of the buzzer cards.
Okay.
Malcolm, sorry, not Duncan. M whatever.
Yeah.
Not Dunk. I don't
What
know.
was
where
it?
the
Was
fuck
it
I got
Malcolm Duncan?
Maybe. Hang
I'll
on.
look it
Let
up.
me find the tweet. But like, this is just that Kevin Feige is implying that if the characters from the Netflix series come back, that it's going to be the same actors, and I just really, really want it.
Yeah.
Malcolm Ducassi.
Oh, I don't know where I got Duncan.
Oh.
That would be interesting if this was Jessica Jones' apartment building the whole time.
So okay, so I have a question about Yelena. So she was in this episode for like 2 seconds.
She did a really weird ballerina thing off a roof and fucked off.
Florence Pugh was on set for probably 3 hours because you
Right.
see her face like just that one time. So like, how do we think that's going to get resolved? Like, do we expect her to show up in every episode now, like the last 2, or
I don't think
is she
so.
just going to show up in one more, or is she not
Honestly,
going to show up anymore at all?
my thought is she's not going to show up. It's just one of those like the hit didn't work, and it's like they try something else.
Nah, I don't think Yelena would give up that easy if she assumes that this
I'm not
is the
saying
person that
Yelena
killed
gives
Black
up.
Widow.
I'm saying like she would. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just my
The other
thought.
thing is like,
They'll
my only
make
thing
a
is just
movie
like,
or something. Make
like
it a
if
bit
Clint
more.
sits her down and goes, "No, you were lied to. I didn't kill Natasha. She yeeted herself off a cliff on a different planet." Like, is she just gonna look at him and be like, "Oh, my bad. That was a misunderstanding"? Like,
No.
you need to
Mhm.
provide some sort of proof or convince them some way.
Mm.
I don't. I feel like she doesn't know who Clint is because like she didn't seem to respond or react when Fontaine showed her the picture. So maybe if he just goes, "Hey, I was her best friend and I have proof of that," she'll believe him.
Okay, but I also wouldn't react if I was somebody who was raised in a spy family and then sent to a room where I was tortured, forced to get a hysterectomy, and then spent years just murking people. I wouldn't really gasp either if somebody showed me something and said one of the Avengers killed my sister. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, when you put
But
it
Especially
like
I'd be like,
that,
okay.
Especially when somebody tells you like that's probably how they got all their targets was hand him a tablet. Here's your target. Boom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Why do I not save important tweets?
I do think it's going to be a bummer if the Yelena issue is not resolved.
Especially this being Clint's probably last starring role in the MCU. I think it does need to be resolved. Otherwise, it would just be a hanging plot that they would have to resolve somewhere else less effectively.
Yeah, no, so I do think it's going to get resolved within the next 2 episodes. Ideally, it would get resolved before the end of the 6th episode so she can team up with them because we all deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna find this fucking tweet.
You take your time.
What tweet are you looking for?
I found it. So in Hawkeye, when they go to her aunt's building for the first time, there is a sticker that says Jones right there / Gunther. I don't know who Gunther is, but I haven't looked into like the names of characters in Jessica Jones that I didn't already know, to be 1,000% honest with you. I'm a little mad that it didn't say Cage, but whatever. And then they were comparing that this is from Jessica Jones, but the hallways to these buildings look really fucking similar. And like it wasn't like an office complex in Jessica Jones, it was an apartment complex. And
The location?
fucking no, Kingpin was like the guy who plays Kingpin
Vincent D'Onofrio.
went on like a
D'Onofrio.
tweet rampage, basically being like, not like he wasn't mad, but like
A
saying
positive
that,
rampage.
yeah, saying that more characters from the Netflix, if they were going to bring back Charlie Cox, they need to bring back Deborah Wall as Karen and a bunch of other characters from the MCU and give them from the Netflix shows and give them stories that they deserve. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
No, you're good. We deserve to see an Endgame where the Defenders came out of the portals. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my
I also Kate Bishop and Jessica Jones are BFFs in the comics, and they are my 2 favorite Marvel female superheroes. And I need Marvel to give me this, all right? I don't got a lot going on right now. I need them to give this to me. If you're gonna give all your other fucking fans the little Spider-Man men and like throw in Charlie Cox in there and bring back Kingpin, you need to give me this.
Yeah, I've said for a while
It's
that
only fair.
Definitely the people from the Netflix shows they need to bring back, at the very least, would be Daredevil and Jessica Jones, because
If they're the only ones they bring back, I don't give a fuck. If it's just them,
Yep.
I would like them to bring Luke Cage back because I would like to see them be happy, but I can't have everything.
Yeah.
If Kevin Feige says you can have Jessica Jones back, but Finn Jones also has to come back, what do you say?
I would take it. I love Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones so much that I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I fucking can't stand Karen from Daredevil. I wanted them to do her comic book storyline so goddamn bad.
It got dark
she would
every time
disappear.
you ranted me about how you wish they just kill her off with a heroin addiction. It got real dark.
That's what happens to her in the comics, and she becomes a porn star and becomes addicted to drugs, and she dies of a drug overdose after betraying Daredevil to Kingpin. And I just thought it would be an interesting. No, I don't give a shit that she became a porn star. Karen, for some reason, just bugs me. I don't know, like, something from the second she came on the show, I was like, you irritate me. Like, you're annoying. It was the same thing with Trish Walker. I did not like her. And when Jessica hated her in season 3,
yeah,
in season 3, when Jessica hated her, I was like, fair. I would hate her too. I do hate her.
See, Daredevil, I'd say, was the most consistent show with its quality. Whereas Jessica Jones, Kirsten Ritter did a fantastic fucking job every single time. I don't think the seasons 2 and 3 were that good.
Yeah, nobody watched Jessica Jones, so like they didn't commit a lot of stuff to it. Like
to me, it's the stuff that they decided to commit to that I didn't like bringing her mom back and that she's been secretly alive this whole time just to kill her off. Spoilers, by the way, but this doesn't matter.
This came out years ago. Like,
yeah,
if you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what to fucking tell you.
I like stopped
I
watching
don't know.
midway through season 2. I couldn't
So
continue
did
it.
most people, and that's what's so fucking annoying. Is season 3 was actually interesting. They did a really cool thing with bringing in another like gifted the way Jessica is gifted person and having Benjamin Walker, who's a fantastic actor, play him, and they played off each other super well. I don't remember how season 3 ended, to be 1,000% honest with you. I
Oh,
may not have ever finished it.
I remember
But
100% how it ends. It ends with Trish being escorted to the raft, Jessica looking at her
oh
from
yeah!
a fence, being like, "That's a shame." She goes into Grand Central to get a ticket. She hears Purple Man's voice in her head. She shakes him away, being like, I've conquered this. You will not be here." And then they don't say where she's getting a train ticket to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So just bring her back. Bring her to me.
I mean,
Please.
I'd be cool for them to bring down all four plus the Punisher.
Honestly, if I had my pick, it would be, even though I didn't watch Punisher because it was a little too intense for my delicate sensibilities. I didn't finish Daredevil season 2 because of the Punisher. I just read what happened and skipped to season 3 and then didn't finish that either. The Punisher was but I'd be okay if I get Jessica back, I'd be okay if they brought all 5 of them back. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I will fucking sit through the Punisher so that I'm not behind on anything. As much as that character deeply upsets
I
me.
actually never watched season 2 of the Punisher. I feel like the Netflix shows they didn't go out with a bang. They kind of just went out in silence, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah. It was super, oh god. And I feel like we have a chance to redeem them now, guys, and like
Yeah.
Hawkeye is one location where we can fix it. Or doesn't the other, although she got a, no, she didn't. Yeah, doesn't the other chick become the Iron Fist at the end?
Yes, at the
Can't we
end of
just
Iron
say Danny
Fist.
Rand died and just bring her back?
No, because the season ends with, so Colleen gets the Iron Fist, and the season ends with, I forget his first name, but Meacham and Danny in like this foreign country looking for something, and then Danny pulls out 2 guns that are embedded with the Iron Fist. It's wild.
What was that show?
I didn't watch
'Cause,
Iron Fist. That was
Yeah,
after
like
I
Meacham
got
is like
done with
interrogating
Defenders.
someone. He's like, and like Danny's standing back, like that's his guy, and then he reaches into a trench coat, pulls out twin pistols that are glowing. I'm not making this up.
I believe you. Iron Fist was fucking weird, my man.
I liked it enough.
Wow. Do we think Hawkeye gets a season 2? And that could mean with Kate
Like
Bishop
with
being,
Kate.
yeah.
I
that could be-
think
I could see with Kate, yeah.
I think with Kate post Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, we're gonna get season 2.
yeah.
Because America Chavez and her are like they have so many stories together in the comics, and they're
Yeah.
like squad.
It's also so obvious they're setting up the Young Avengers.
I know. I know.
Right? Yeah.
They're like,
Like,
well, here's the twins, and yeah, America Chavez is showing up, and here's Kate Bishop, and I was like, okay,
and fucking we met Iron Lad, Iron Boy, Captain Patriot, whatever the fuck his name is, Eli.
Yep.
yeah,
I don't remember what his name is in the comics.
Eli Bradley,
Thank you. His superhero name, you ass.
Patriot.
It is Patriot? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where you
Yeah.
got Iron Lad.
I don't fucking know. Isn't there a character called Iron Patriot? Am I
That's
dumb?
that's Rhodey's
Iron Man
name
3,
when he's
yeah.
yeah.
That's where I got. And
That's
then
when
Iron Lad just got
Rhodey's
tied in there.
armor got a American flag spray painted on it.
Yeah, they're very clearly setting up the Young Avengers, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got more Hawkeye. But I think all of that's going to be after Multiverse of Madness, because Multiverse of Madness has to happen to introduce America Chavez. Multiverse of Madness realistically has to happen for the twins to come back. Like, I just think we might get a lot of that stuff.
After they kind of wrap
Thank
up
you.
what they're doing, all the multiverse stuff, because I'm gonna just go ahead and make an assumption that the multiverse is gonna open, people are gonna come into their universe, and it's gonna close, and we're gonna get introduced to characters that way. I don't think that's the wildest
Yeah.
assumption of Marvel I've ever
I
made.
can see that.
Yeah.
I just totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no. we barely talked about the episode. We've talked about everything else, but like I liked the episode, but I feel like it was
It
fine.
just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
We're building towards the end here. So like we got all of our
Exactly,
bad
yeah.
guys in at this point. We know kind of like the two thing. We got a B plot that they got to solve. They've got, you know, an A plot that we're kind of figuring out, you know, and like a lot of things also get answered. Like Jack, if Jack is a bad guy and really is this money laundering company for the Twin Suit Mafia, that wraps
Tracksuit.
up tracksuit. What did I say?
Twin suit.
Fantastic.
Don't even know what a twin suit is.
I don't think that is a thing. I just think I'm losing my mind. If we find out that he is part of all this money laundering and Armad is part of all of that, like you can tie up Jack and Maya and Kingpin all kind of in one neat little bubble. And then over here you got Yelena and we figure out what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I think multiple things can get answered at once.
Yeah. I do gotta say, we haven't really seen. I need to see one fight where Clint doesn't get his butt kicked.
Yeah.
To be fair,
just one fight.
Yeah, this is a man that's been trying to retire for 10 years.
that's not
Very true.
yes, but I was
Maybe
also
it'll be
going
the
to go-
finale. Maybe it'll be the
Yeah.
finale.
I was also going to go to he had Yelena Belova and Echo attacking him, which of two people to get your ass kicked by, those are the two that I'm like, you know what? Don't be embarrassed.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd let Yelena kick my ass.
For
wouldn't?
not fun reasons. I just want to fight her.
Same.
Like I'd get my butt kicked.
But I want to
like,
lose.
Stop being gross. Stop being gross.
Just imagining Jordan trying to fight her and like not even getting a single hit.
I mean, I wouldn't,
She
but
would
I wouldn't even
murder him.
try.
I got-
Absolutely murder.
That's fine. Just kill me.
Jordan, you could be trying your hardest, and that round is still gonna last a kick.
Exactly. So why waste the energy? Just let it happen.
You're disgusting.
I'm
Yeah.
very lonely.
Okay, on that note, I am deciding we have to be done because I can't listen to Jordan anymore.
That joke was a lot funnier in my head.
Almighty.
Hey man, Spider-Man is 11 days away, or not even
Dude.
11 days.
It's
Like 8 days
for me.
away. Yeah, 8
8
days away.
days,
Sorry,
yeah.
I can't count.
Oh god, I can't contain it.
8 days away, my
Alright.
friend.
Any final predictions for the next 2 episodes, or at least the next episode? What you think we're gonna see? What's gonna wrap up? Who else might appear?
I have no idea. To be 1,010%
I think we will see
honest
Kingpin
here.
next episode.
Next episode, yeah.
So you think he's gonna have like because like what I think is gonna happen, and I think Leanne said this is like he'll show up for like a phone call as the stinger or something for the last episode.
Yeah, I think we're either going to see him in the last episode, like right off the bat, or in a post-credit scene for the next episode.
Yeah, I think it would be really
technically wouldn't be wrong if it was a post-credit scene for next episode.
Yeah.
I didn't say how much he'd show up. I said he'd show up.
But I think that's the thing. I think if he doesn't show up next episode, he has to be like the first thing we see in the 6th episode, because it wouldn't make sense for him to be a post-credit teaser after the show's over. You know, like after the 6th episode. He needs to basically be involved in whatever's going down.
And I think his story with Maya isn't going to get wrapped up. I
Oh,
think that's going to
100%.
be left
Agreed.
for that's
For
going to be
Echo's
left for
show.
Echo.
Yeah.
And that we're going to see more of him in that. But I think because like I don't think this is going to end with Maya or Kingpin going to jail. I think it's going to end with Maya and Kazi being like, bye bitch, to Kingpin and going off on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And then it being all of their stuff and that really famous comic scene where he's like, we don't have to work against each other. Like, we're going for the same things.
Yeah.
Fun.
And
then
That was a beautiful quote.
Thank you. I can't remember the whole line.
So I brought this up of either last week or the week before. Do we assume that there's going to be any reinforcements coming via some Avenger or
No.
good person? No.
No, and
think
I
so.
think they're. I don't think they're going to do
Yeah.
that. It's because they've also come out and said that for whatever reason, this show takes place 2 years after Endgame, and a lot of the stuff that we're getting right now are within those 2 years, and so I think the less people they show, the better, because then they don't have to mention anything that we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
How long does Shang-Chi take place after Endgame?
I
6
don't
months or
know.
something. 6 months. It's more closer, right? I
Couldn't
think.
tell
It's
ya.
like closer to yeah.
This is what I need Marvel to do, is I just need them to release like every time a new movie comes out, I just need them to tell me where it falls after Endgame,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't keep track anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I don't. I just enjoy the movies.
But yeah, I think Yelena is gonna call Val. Hey, I can't get the job done. She's gonna call Johnny Dub, Super Soldier, to beat Clint, and
If we
then
see that motherfucker in this show, I swear to God.
I won't be on the next two if he is.
I mean, if he shows up as just like a villain, I don't really care.
If he shows up and Kate gets to shoot him in the face with an arrow, yeah, that's fine.
No, I don't want to see that.
Not
Please
like
do not
straight
show
through.
me. Oh my god.
It's just like the
That's
trick
the
hero that
only
like covered
thing
up the alarm. Just cover his
Yeah.
face with purple goo.
No, plot twist. Marvel decides to make this the goriest scene they've ever done.
Please don't.
They just Tarantino it, blood
In a
everywhere.
happy
When she was
Christmas murder mystery. Yes, that makes complete sense.
when she was aiming at Yelena, or when Kate was aiming at Yelena, I was sitting there going, I know she's going to put the bow down. I really need her to, because I don't want to see her shoot Yelena in the shoulder. And like, we've never seen Hawkeye shoot a human,
Yeah.
and like, I don't know if I want to.
well, Kate shot Echo, or no, that was Clint.
Yeah, Clint shot the two.
Like around
Yeah.
their neck.
No. Echo on the roof got hit in the shoulder.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
There was a lot happening on the roof.
Yeah, but like this,
And-
this show's been the first time they've actually shown them shooting arrows at humans, and they haven't been too graphic about it. And like,
Not killing
That guy
them,
got his
just
hand
like in the
into a
shoulder.
pole.
Yeah.
but that's I think that's as worse as it's gotten. Like, we haven't seen anybody get killed by these arrows yet, like directly. We've not seen anybody get an arrow through the fucking face.
Ooh, what if
Arrow to the
we
knee.
see- Yeah.
Dang.
just-
There it is. Oh my god, it's 2013 again.
2011.
I feel that meme
Can't.
lasted so long though.
Well, because the game keeps coming out. It literally just came
Yeah,
out
that's true.
again, like a couple
It
weeks
literally came out
ago.
again this year.
Yeah.
In 20 years, I'm gonna look at my kids' Christmas list, and it's gonna say Skyrim and GTA 5.
Oh
'Cause those
gosh.
games will just never not come out.
Ooh, I learned something about Skyrim in my writing for games class, and like, whoa. Like, everything I learned about that game, I'm like, out of context, this makes no fucking sense.
Mm.
Like, well, on that note, because we don't need to talk about any more Skyrim, there's enough people that do that. We will see you guys next week, and hopefully Kingpin will be with us. But until next time, bye.